Hi guys, it's Carol from Cape Cod Cottage Garden. Today is March 30th. We have a plot twist, folks, in my gardening journey this year. Spanner in the works, call it what you want, but it's a biggie. Ugh. I was trying to decide if I should share this with everyone or not. I think I'll share a little bit just to explain why I am so stressed. But as far as my gardening journey goes, as I said in the opening, there is a plot twist. I actually have to have surgery tomorrow morning. I have to leave the Cape, go to the city, and have surgery. So in today's video, I'm going to be potting up all of my little seedlings because I'm hoping I'll be able to come back here in a day or 2 or 3. But depending on how it goes, I might not be back for 2 weeks. If that happens, I'll have to make another plan. But even 3 days, you guys, if you grow plants, you know you can't leave your seedlings for 3 days. Last night I went out to dinner. Like yesterday, I didn't water because I watered the day before. I went out to dinner. I didn't water them yesterday, and I came back and all of my tomatoes, well, they're perked up now. Let me show you this one because this one's a little worse. We're lying down flat, like totally flat. I did water them then and last night, so now they perked up a little bit. Was that this morning? Can't even remember. I'm so stressed I can't remember, but they're perking up a little bit. But when they're in these tiny little seed cells, they need daily attention because they could dry out and droop in one day. And they just don't have enough soil to retain enough moisture to keep them going for a couple of days. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to up pot as many as my seedlings that are in these 1-inch pots as I possibly can today. Now I have probably 1,000 seedlings behind me, so I know I'm not going to be able to do them all. But things that are more sensitive to, going without water for a day, like tomatoes and stuff like that, I'm definitely going to get those things potted up into a bigger cell. So I have my soil mix here. I think for now, because my pots, even though I bought all these pots, I still struggle with not having enough pots. It's crazy. Maybe I'm planting too much. It could be that. Maybe I'm just sowing too much. I need to chill. The other day, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, I planted peas and I soaked them overnight. And for some reason, I planted 250 peas. Why? Why did I do that? Anyway, so I guess this is the year of going overboard. So I'm going to fill these. I'm going to use these to do my tomatoes at the very least. So I'm going to start on those right now. I have my soil mix right here, already moistened. Today I am using, where is that bag? I'm using this Vermont Compost Fort V Mix potting soil. Because when you get to this stage of potting up, if you originally started with seed starting mix, you want to move up to potting soil. Let me show you the difference between a true leaf and a cotyledon. Hang on, let me get something so I can show you that. I don't know if I have any. As far as using potting mix or seed starting mix, the difference is the seed starting mix generally doesn't have any nutrients in it. It's just like a medium for the seed to sit in and to germinate. But once the seed germinates, it's going to need more nutrition from the soil and the water to grow. So for example, now these aren't the same plants. These are zinnias and these celosia. But this was a good example of what a difference between a cotyledon and a true leaf. So once your plant develops true leaves, then it's time to either use potting soil, up pot them and use potting soil, or use a little fertilizer to feed the plant. Because if it isn't seed starting mix, they're not getting any more nutrition from that seed. So these are cotyledons right here. The first 2 leaves that emerge, those 2 right there, oops, 1, 2, that gets all of its nutrition from the seed itself. But once that has emerged and grown, the seed is out of nutrition. So in order to grow the true leaves, which are starting right there, it's kind of hard to see, but there's a little one starting right in the middle there, it's going to need more. It's going to need more out of its soil. So that's when you either use potting mix, up pot to potting mix, or you can use liquid fertilizer or something. I like to use this Neptune's Harvest, but you can use any fertilizer. I would use organic if you use, especially on your vegetables, if you're going to be eating them. And you have to dilute this by a whole bunch. For example, what I do, I use this 1/2 gallon watering can, and I put literally like probably a quarter of a teaspoon. Like I don't measure it, but I kind of just go like this. I don't want to do it. I just go like this, boop, like that. That's how much I put in there to feed. Because you don't want to burn the tender roots. This could, I don't know if it could, but I wouldn't risk burning the roots. So I am getting way off track. I wanted to explain to you a little bit of the reasons why we pot up and what types of soil to use. So these are very light. They obviously need a lot of water, but I am holding off to the very, very last minute today before I leave to water these. So I feel like I can stretch it a little bit. If I water these right before I leave, maybe they'll be okay for a couple of days. That's my thought process. So let me put these back under the lights. I shut the lights off on this side because it was really glaring. So I think while I pot some of my tomatoes here, I'll explain a little bit what's going to be happening. I don't think I'm going to get into the nitty gritty of what I'm doing because it's personal, but the results of that surgery mean for 6 to 8 weeks, I'm not going to be able to lift anything. I'm not going to be able to really use anything that requires upper body strength whatsoever. The first week, I literally am only allowed to stay in bed and get up and use the restroom and that kind of thing. Walk around every couple hours to make sure my circulation is good. But the first week is pretty much bed rest. And after that, the second week, I think I can go on little walks if I want to, but not like an exercise walk, more like a stroll, a short stroll. And then the second week, I have to go back to the surgeon and have all the tubes and stuff removed, and I don't know. So I'll probably know more then, but what I have is not life-threatening, but it needs to be done. So I don't have cancer or anything really scary like that, thank goodness. But unfortunately, it's something I do have to have done. Is it coming at a weird time? Yes, because it's gardening season. And I could have put it off a little longer. I mean, I do have the remodel going on. It's absolute chaos. Because even when I return to the Cape, I'm probably still going to be in the basement. So being bedridden and stuck in the basement might not be enjoyable. Look at that little plant baby. Getting distracted. But these are sun golds. They're a little droopy. I hope they recover. I really find potting up plants very... Oh, shoot. I wanted to plant it really deep because they're just a little bit leggy. And with tomatoes, as you know, I hope I can show it, but tomatoes, can you see that? They have little hairs on the sides. A lot of plants do. They have these little hairs on the side of the stem. And if you plant it deep, those will all become more roots. So that's my goal. I'm going to plant them deep. I forgot about that. So I feel bad for Mr. Hubby and my family because I'm going to be so sad if my plants are not planted and stuff. I started hardening off my stuff this week, like my cool flowers. All that stuff has to get in the ground, and I'm not going to be able to do it. So I think my family's going to give me one solid weekend. Like my kids, Mr. Hubby's going to be doing a lot. I feel so bad. Right now he is shoveling the 5 yards of compost that I bought that we didn't use up. And it's wet and it's heavy, and he's been doing it for 2 days. He's moving it over to where our compost pile is, and I feel really bad. I would help him, but I have to get this done. Yeah, so it is a little spanner in my works because and everybody that's not a plant person, and I tell them how upset I am that I have to leave my plants and they're probably all going to die after all this work. They're like, look at me like I'm insane. But this is what brings me joy. This is what brings me joy. And I don't want to see it all be in vain. And I think, having a major surgery and stuff, it's emotional as it is. So I need my plants to keep me happy, to keep my spirits up. And I think anybody's watching this, they love plants too, so they'll get it. And the other thing is, Mr. Hubby was like, you're going to love it. I'm going to be taking care of you. I'm going to be waiting on you, hand and foot, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, sure, I love it when you I'm lying on the couch and you bring me a soda, or you make dinner for me or whatever. I love that. That makes me feel special, you know, and everybody likes to be taken care of, right? But no one wants to be pathetic and needing help. Like, I'm going to need him to do everything. That's a whole different ball game. I don't know, I'm just not that type of person, I guess. I like to do things on my own. That's one down, guys. So many more to go. So the other issue I have is once I pot these up, am I going to have enough room under my lights? I do have extra lights and boxes up there, but I might have to set up another light source, which means I'll have to, like, I don't know, move stuff around. Yeah, got a lot to do. Now these are really wet right now because I did watered them. I think it was this morning because they were all droopy. And I can see that some of the bottom leaves are dying off and dying because they got dry overnight. I was trying to hold off watering because I wanted to really soak them today. And that's what happened. I think they'll make it. They already bounced back a little bit. Do you guys love the smell of tomatoes? They smell so good. At first, when I first started growing my own tomatoes, I didn't really like the smell. It was like, wow, it's a very strong smell. But now I love it because it just evokes such positive memories and deliciousness. Okay. So I probably won't sit here and let you watch me upload 500 seedlings, but I wanted to give you guys a little skinny on what's going on in my life. It's crazy. And the other thing was the house was supposed to be done March 1st. And that's why I booked my surgery for March 31st. I gave myself 4 weeks just in case, you know, if they went a little bit over. And it's not done. It's not done. So they promised me in 2 weeks, which would be my birthday weekend when my kids were coming down, it will be done. There's so much to do still, though. There's so much to do up there. I really don't think it's going to be done. Is that all I have for sun gold? 6? Maybe. Okay, so I'll come back after I make a little more progress. So I'm making a little progress. I have about 12 more tomatoes to do. So I'm making progress. But I was listening back to that, the first part of this video, and guys, I apologize. I know I'm always a scatterbrain, but I am really bad today. I think I just, you know, with everything that's happening. So I apologize if this is the craziest video. I know all my videos are crazy, but this one's especially crazy. So I started to say, and then I got off track, was I know this is bad timing, having this surgery in the spring, but I don't know if you guys know, but what I do for work is I'm a mammographer. So basically I do breast cancer screening, mammography. I've been doing it for, I don't know, coming on 40 years. So maybe 38 years or something like that. That sounds crazy. Am I that old? Yes, I am. I would have to be out of work for 2 months if I did the surgery while I was working. And you guys know, most of you know I'm not working right now. I took time off. I initially took time off to do this remodel, and then the remodel got delayed like 10 months. So I've been off for a little over a year, not working. But my plan was to go back to work in the spring. This spring, I was going to go back to work this spring, but then my remodel got delayed. So then I decided, I'll just take the spring off. And if I'm going to take the spring off, I might as well take the summer off. So the reason why I didn't delay this surgery like into the fall, like where it'd be more convenient, have it done, because it won't be planting season as much and I won't be in the middle of this mess of a remodel. But I'm probably going to go back to work in the fall. And with my job being a mammographer, I'd have to take like 2 months off. So I don't want to start a new job and then say, oh, by the way, I'm having surgery and I'm going to have to take 2 months off. So yeah, so that's why I'm doing it now. So, and then Mr. Hubby says, are you going back to work, really? And I was like, well, that was the plan. So we'll see how that goes. So now I'm on my black cherry tomatoes. Interestingly enough, I think these are the ones I got at the library for free, and they all germinated. How cute they are. Oh, Absolutely. I never grew this kind before. I think these are the ones I got at the library. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I didn't buy these. Got them at the free seed exchange. Thought that was pretty cool. I thought for sure they'd be old and wouldn't germinate, but they all germinated. Every single one I planted. Look at some of these babies did not recover very well from drying out last night. See how they're all droopy? I think they'll come back, but these like are the cotyledons. They're like falling off very easily, see? So, I don't know. All right, I'm gonna keep going. And also in the background, if you hear like banging and talking and all kinds of noise, there's like 5 people up there doing painting, working on the house. So I'm crossing my fingers. By the middle of April, it will be done. Oh. Kind of a little bit upset about it. I think that's why I'm so wacky today, is because I planned everything out. I gave myself an extra month so I could recover from my surgery in my own bed, upstairs with my own bathroom, that type of thing. And that clearly is not going to happen now. But I got to wrap my head around it. No sense crying over something you have no control over. Now this is the Constelluto Genovese. When I'm done, maybe I'll show you everything I potted up, but I'm really starting to feel under the gun here because I've only got the tomatoes done so far, and it's just about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So I have a lot to do to get ready. Not to mention drive back to my other house. I'm going to sleep there tonight. Okay, I'm going to stop rambling and keep planting. I'll be back. Hi guys, I'm sitting here editing my video and I realized I never closed it out. That was a stressful day, but it's 3 weeks later. I'm 3 weeks post-op. I'm going to the doctor's again tomorrow. I'm hoping they're going to give me permission to drive. That would be great. But I'm doing fantastic. I mean, it was a little bit rough, but I'm feeling pretty good. Yesterday, I actually went out and I planted up my ranunculus, some lettuce, and my anemones. I had to get them in the ground. I planted them all, and oh my gosh, I definitely shouldn't have, because I paid dearly last night. It was terrible. But so today I wasn't going to do that much, but I did plant up a couple of pots just with some of my violas and my pansies. So the weather is finally turning here, so I was able to get outside. And you know what? I know I'm not supposed to do it. I'm not supposed to. But it just made me feel so good to get out there. So this was, again, a wacky video. So I truly, truly appreciate you guys following along. And I just wanted to share what was going on in case, I don't get videos out or things slow down. But I'm doing fantastic. I hope you enjoyed the video and a little catch up on what's going on in my life right now. But all is good, and I really appreciate you watching. And so I hope you guys are outside enjoying your gardens as well. So if your weather is cooperating with you, get out there and grow. Bye, guys.